Hello guys, and today we have one of the most important Russian geography lessons because Ukrainian drones targeted the largest Russian oil port in Primorsk on the shores of the Baltic Sea, very far away from the Ukrainian border but close to St. Petersburg, sacred for the Putin's regime city and important hub for the Russian shadow fleet, the one that helps Russian economy survive the sanctions. But now some serious hardships begin, because 3 of its pumping stations are destroyed together with a huge vessel carrying a lot of oil. It will be paralyzed for a very long period of time, and each day the Kremlin loses $41 million. That is the capacity of that oil port that it was actually doing during these months. Inexpensive drones doing an amazing job to demilitarize Russia and to destroy their war economy. And some Russian male bloggers are super worried that Ukraine uses some very unusual, similar to cruise missile drones that maybe actually are responsible for more and more of such important demilitarization attacks inside the Russian Federation and in Crimea. Let's discuss all of that in the video. My name is Anna, I'm from Ukraine, I'm in Ukraine, and if you want to see the defeat and demilitarization of Russia that has already started, subscribe. We discuss all of that on the channel, and we also exchange extremely important knowledge and skills in the world that is getting more and more dangerous. When Donald Trump says that Putin's drones in Poland were just a mistake. Well, 19 mistakes. Anyway, let's return back to Primorsk. It is located on the Baltic Sea and close to St. Petersburg, close to Ust-Luga port, and Russians are actively using it for export. You all know that Russian economy is totally dependent on their raw materials, on oil, gas, that is a fully resource economy. They do not produce anything competitive, and with the tax on oil refineries, they already experience serious problems with the export. They actually had to ban the export of gasoline, but they continued selling oil, and you can guess why. That is the only way to earn money. So in Primorsk on the Baltic Sea, they have the largest oil port, used purely for the export of oil and oil products. It is far away from the Ukrainian border, it is close to the Baltic states, so actually by targeting such Russian military evil things, we also protect Poland, the Baltics, and trust me, these countries do understand that 19 drones in Poland were not a mistake. So during that visit of Ukrainian drones to Primorsk, first of all, a vessel was set ablaze. You know how easily they burn when packed with shadow oil. But most importantly, 3 separate, expensive, irreplaceable, as long as sanctions continued, pumping stations. They are necessary for the operation of that facility and also to bring the oil to Ust-Luga, another terminal close to St. Petersburg and often visited by the Ukrainian drones. Actually, Putin had to cancel the traditional Navy parade in St. Petersburg this August because of the dangerous situation. Another reminder about major Russian failures since the beginning of their failed blitzkrieg. And to tell you the truth, when the blitzkrieg failed, the collapse of the Russian Federation began. Remember and share the videos, subscribe, that is the easiest way to demonstrate your solidarity with Ukraine, but also to know the truth. And based on this truth about weak, just violent and crazy regime, you can make some logical decisions, not led by some emotions or fear coming from the White House quite unexpectedly. So these 3 stations, pumping stations, were used to pump oil to Ust-Luga and also to facilitate the shadow fleet, because in Primorsk, they have that secret, not very secret hub that they use to maintain, to supply Russian shadow fleet. Unfortunately, that is a very obvious phenomenon that the Kremlin designed, and lots of businesses, lots of countries decided to close their eyes. During 1 year, they were able to work out 60 million tons of Russian oil via Primorsk, earning $15 billion for the bloody Russian budget. But not anymore. According to the reports, and you know that satellite images, intelligence on the ground, and I'm proud of how quickly we develop and evolve our intelligence, we see that these pumping stations are irreplaceable. It's super difficult to repair them under sanctions. It takes months, and during just 1 day. During just 1 day, Russia will lose $41 million. $41 million in the context of obvious recession, frozen deposits very soon, and in general, more and more problems amassing. Let me know in the comments below, do you believe that new sanctions can follow? Because there are some reports from the White House. I personally do not trust them, but I believe that unity and determination of the EU leaders is growing stronger with each Russian drone crossing the border of a NATO country, and the White House pretending it was a mistake. So Ukraine has its strategy. It's the best strategy to bring lasting peace by demilitarizing Russia and thus making it what it is. Because let's be honest, Russia cannot export anything but its violence and oil. So by destroying the ability to export oil, we also destroy the ability to export violence. And honestly, contrary to the fear of Donald Trump, Russian meal bloggers fear Ukraine. They understand that Russia failed its main aims in Ukraine, then it failed its aims in Russia. It was a safe country, well, not internally from, this political point of view, FSB point of view, but from the military point of view, nothing threatened Russia until they decided to invade Ukraine. And now dozens of their regions are a war zone. That is the reality that Putin and those who support him brought to Russia. And these Russian military bloggers that know more about the state of Russia, about the state of their army, about the way we defend Ukraine, speak about new drones that we started actively using on the front lines in, beautiful moment, Russia. Yes, there are front lines in Russia. So they use something similar to cruise missile design, and they are very speedy, and failing Russian air defense cannot stop them. Plus, it identifies them as missiles, but they are drones and behave as drones. And honestly, I think we will hear more about Ukrainian cruise missiles, flamingos, and we have a new t-shirt in our merch shop to celebrate this invention. And about these drones, because nothing shows that any negotiations with Russia can lead us to peace, to justice, and the weakness of some people in the United States luckily is not contagious. And I know that a lot of people in the United States in this very challenging, very violent times understand Ukraine even better than it was before. And people in Poland, in Finland, in the Baltics listen to what the Russian propagandists openly say on their TV channels and understand that strong Ukraine, united Europe, united NATO is the only way to prevent the war between a larger authoritarian axis like China, Iran, North Korea that are already doing it, but just via Russia. And I know you know that, so I'm super grateful when you share the videos, when you leave your comments and likes, which helps spread the truth. in the world that is manipulated by lies. Also, subscribe to my new channel, Anna Danilchuk. The community is growing quickly there, and I actually test one series about language of war, and I will be happy to get your feedback on that channel too. So also follow me on Instagram, X, Threads, Blue Sky, Discord, all the links in this video, and I share more of everyday life. You know that your friends, your family, you're traveling with me, even when I'm in the middle of a forest, and I'm always happy that I can take you with me and I can share more of my country, more of our thoughts and feelings, and maybe even our strengths and bravery with you. I'm very grateful to all the patrons and sponsors and people who buy me coffee and help me work more, film more, and tell you more about Ukraine and how we need to remain strong and how we need to protect freedom and our way of life. Once again, I know you know that. Share, comment, subscribe, and thank you so much for your support and for being friends of mine and friends of Ukraine. Slava Ukraini!